Very nice. Can't do it without our count, though. I can. We've got to do our countdown. There we go. The countdown. That was good. Got people in the room as well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. If you haven't subscribed already, do hit the subscribe button. It all helps. Make sure you smash the like button. That also helps the channel. And do share the videos as well. Okay. So if you are part of a boxing group on Facebook or on Twitter or across Instagram, let us know. It'd be great so we can get to interact with other people on that group as well. Shout out and good evening to those people on Twitch, on BWTM Sports Gaming, our Twitch channel. Thank you for watching and thank you for your support. Of course, watching us on Facebook, BWTM Online, and of course on YouTube, BWTM Sports Gaming. So good evening to you all. I've addressed you all as we do on this multi-stream tonight. Good evening, Lakvinda. Good evening, Denise. Hope you both are well. It's really great to see you both in the room. Okay, so before you ask, I haven't seen any interviews whatsoever in terms of trainers post Dillian White, Alexander Povetkin. I haven't listened to trainers' interviews. I really watched a post-fight with Dillian White the next day, and that was it. That was it. Not interested in what anybody else has to say, to be honest, about that, because I want to. My topic tonight of discussion is the word upset. It is probably one of the most overused words in the world of boxing today. And the words negligence, poor matchmaking, poor preparations, poor game plan, those words don't really come up, but the word upset does. And there's a lack of accountability that's, if not creeping into the sport, that's in the sport of boxing today as we talk, as we speak. And I want to go back to this word upset. Now, an upset, the last time I looked at it, is if a big favorite is defeated, a guy who's like 100 to 1 on is going to win a fight, or 90% on, guaranteed to win the fight. You know, better fighter, better boxer, and gets absolutely poleaxed. That, for me, is a great upset. A guy who's everybody's rooting and says he's going to win, and then they get beat. I can't consider that an upset. But I struggle in 2 fights now involving British fighters where it's been considered an upset. And ironically, the 2 British fighters that fought, I gave you pre-match warnings, the day of the fight, warnings as to what could happen if they didn't follow the game plan. Let me take you back to when Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz, the first fight. Did I or did I not warn you that if Anthony Joshua chose to engage with Andy Ruiz, he would come off second best, and while he was opening up, he would get caught with the left hook, and that would be the beginning of the end. Go back and look at my pre-fight. Go back and look at the pre-fight. Go back and look at how I broke it down. And I used 2 incidents within Joshua's career. When he got tagged by Dillian White and when he got tagged by Klitschko. Joshua fans thought I was hating. Joshua fans saying, "You're hating on Joshua." You see, and what happens is there's almost a little or no regard for the opposition. There's little or no regard for technical breakdowns. And it just seems to be, I like this guy. I like this guy. No matter if he makes all the mistakes in the world, I'm going to glorify him. I'm going to say he's just the best thing since sliced bread. I'm just going to head on forward regardless of what happens. I'm just going to believe the narrative that I've been given by the reporters, by the promoter. I'm just going to believe the crap until something goes wrong. And then when it goes wrong, I'm going to turn around and say to you afterwards, well, it was an upset. We'll get it right the second time round. Well, hold on. Wait right there. Andy Ruiz, the excuse of Andy Ruiz, the first fight, people would say is, well, he was fat guy. So we just knock him over. Easy. Knock him over. Easy. Andy Ruiz had extensive amateur pedigree, had fast hands. Let me go back to that breakup, build that breakdown. I said, when I looked at Anthony Joshua, there are two fights, the Klitschko fight and the White fight. Two fights where he was hurt. In the Klitschko fight, he was let off the hook. If it was Klitschko of old, we wouldn't be talking about Anthony Joshua today. And Dillian White was injured going into that fight. But if you go back in my pre-fight to Joshua versus White, I told you White wasn't ready for that fight. He was injured. I spoke about it. But again, if you don't listen, steam straight ahead. Doesn't matter what. Doesn't matter about the facts. Just go ahead and just hope. So Joshua fights Ruiz, and they call it a great upset. It's a big upset. Well, if I can sit here, I'm not a full-time boxer. I'm not a full-time boxing trainer. I'm not I watch here. I study sport. I sit here. Some would call me a keyboard warrior. We know that's not true. I can sit here, and I can tell you that Ruiz versus Joshua is a terrible matchup. Absolutely terrible matchup. Do you know? Absolutely terrible matchup. Absolutely terrible matchup. So we think to ourselves, let me put this over here. It is a little of an upset as White was favourite on odds on, but also as the loss went so against the Matchroom narrative, it's upset Matchroom. I'm going to come back to that Matchroom narrative in 1 second. I'm going to break that down. So going back to upset, the word upset. I don't understand how Joshua was an overwhelming favourite. I was an overwhelming favourite. Excuse me a second. Let me just deal with this person a second. Let me just can't seem to do anything with that. What an idiot. Oh, it's somebody in Twitch. That's what it is. I can't understand why the narrative of Joshua was going to blow Ruiz away from such a good amateur experience, a good pro, good chin, decent, good stamina, and fast hands, and dangerous up close. Why he was just written off. Why? Because of a lack of education. Why? Because of arrogance. Why? Because people don't understand the science of boxing. Let's put that to one side. Let's put that to one side for 1 second. Now let's talk about Dillian White against Povetkin. Day one, it was red alert. Day one. Did I not put in videos red alert, red flags? How can you be a favorite going into a fight? You've never been a world champion. The last Olympic gold medalist you beat, the last Olympic gold medalist that you fought, you got knocked out by, injury or not. And then you're going in again against Olympic champion or world champion, Olympic champion, world champion, and technically is better than yourself. This was a step up fight. There was nothing on White's resume to suggest he could beat an Olympic gold medalist standard fighter. Nothing, because in his resume, he got beat. These are the facts. This is not me hating or because I have been a big defender of Dillian White. So it's not a case of that. But I'm not defending something that hasn't got substance to it. The fact of the matter is, he went in against an Olympic champion, a world champion, one of the most dangerous fighters in the heavyweight division. This was a step-up fight. This was the final hurdle. So how can it be an upset? The guy's better than White on paper. But what was the narrative this time? Andrews was fat. Povetkin was old. So if somebody can explain to me upset for White versus Povetkin, I don't know. Now, let's put a few other things into that upset, yeah? And let's break that upset down even more. Now, I said to you, did I not? The way this fight will be won and lost is down to tempo, and game plan. And I said, if Dillian White decides to box Povetkin and slow the fight down and try to break him down round by round, he's going to come unstuck. Because round by round, Povetkin's getting more and more warmed up, more and more calculated, more and more getting into rhythm. And then you saw what happened. Povetkin got dropped twice. But how can a man who was so badly hurt be able to get off the stool the next round, slip into position, feet solid, and throw a left uppercut? Those legs did not look shaky to me. Now, let's make this even worse when we talk about game plans. Anthony Joshua, who fought Povetkin and had his trouble, an Olympic gold medalist against another Olympic gold medalist, fought. What did Joshua say? And Joshua and Bellew were on Sky together. I think it was just after Povetkin fight. And he talked about the dip to the left. The dip to the left. This is my left. Right. Left. Yeah. Dip to the left. He dips to the left. This is what Joshua and Bellew said. Joshua had no bias there. He fought Povetkin. And he said, I had to keep using feints. Joshua had to adapt his style when he fought Povetkin. If you look at the fight, he hid the right hand, lots of jabs, and kept feinting all the time. And then when he found the opportunity, cracked him with the right hand. That was it. That was it. Plenty of feints. And Joshua had struggled in that fight as well for the first part. But he still got rid of Povetkin. So you had the warning there. You had inside information how to fight him there. You had Povetkin's trainer, ex-trainer, Teddy Atlas, talking. I've only found this stuff up now about how you have to take the fight to Povetkin. Make those legs, make him feel like an old man. And that's what I said. If you fight Povetkin, if you allow Povetkin to warm the engine up and get going, you're going to be in trouble. But they thought it was smart to sit back and box. But you're not a better boxer than Povetkin. Or you haven't proven to be a better boxer than Povetkin. And if you're still learning your craft, surely you'd want to use the skills that what you've got on your side. Youth, strength, physicality, fearlessness. Those things should have been in your. That should have been your keys to victory. Using those strengths. Why would you give Povetkin more of a chance boxing to his tempo? So you box the tempo of a 40-year-old, huh? And you think that's a game plan? But that game plan you put together should not be questioned. That game plan that's put together, that strategy of trying to sit on the back foot and break a guy down with body shots, that's the strategy to use. And we would call it upset. So if you box a guy's strengths If you box the wrong game plan, if you allow yourself to be in a position to be hit and your defense has been leaky, remember I talked about his defense. Through the middle, up above, through the middle, through the guard, up and through and round. And I gave examples of Dillian White voluntarily backing to the ropes. Where did he end up getting knocked out? Right, was it not right by the ropes? Was it not right by the ropes? Huh? Why? I said when Rivas fought him, he got hit with the uppercut. When he got hit by Rivas, he got hit with the uppercut. When he got hit by Parker, he got hit straight through the middle. So that to me says those are two areas this guy has been vulnerable. Here, through the middle, and up here. So why not defense? Maybe cross-arm defense. Cross-arm defense when you go against Povetkin. It worked very well for George Foreman, and you don't see many fighters they use for cross-arm defense. This is not working because Povetkin will come through, up through the middle and around the sides and straight through the middle. You've seen it on tape. So if I can see it on tape and I can work it on tape and say, you know what? These are the guy's weaknesses. If we dip to the left and come up, and he's always, and this is not a disrespect to Dillian White, but at times he's looked sloppy, a lazy jab, a lazy right hand. So that's not an upset to me. If you're not following game plans, if you're not being given hints, if you're not taking the hints, that's not an upset. That is not an upset. The last two major fights you're in, you were dropped. You just got off the canvas against Joseph Parker. You were struggling with Rivas. That was not an upset. And B, that was not a lucky shot. And the promoter was saying it was a heavy knockdown. Heavy knockdown? No. The same sort of arrogance that was taken into this fight. And look again. It's the same stable. My word. See, and what makes it worse is when you don't respect what's happened. That same lack of attention. As far as I'm concerned, Povetkin had his number for the fight. He knew what to do. The guy gets dropped twice. He goes back to his corner. He comes back the next round, slips to the left, and boom, takes you out. Boom. Knew exactly where to go. And White was defensive to it. And that was the left uppercut. If you look at the commentary at the beginning of the fight, what was he going for? Over the top with the right hand. And if you look at the right hands he's throwing over the top, there wasn't much power in them right hands. They've been chucked to the top. And they looked to me that they were exploratory right hands. In other words, they were right hands saying, oh, let me see if this works. Let me see if this works. Let me see if this works. And really, you just throwing that to really set up your left uppercut. Let me see if this works. Let me see if this works. And the first clean punch that is landed by Povetkin, the fight is over. So, if that's a lucky shot, then every punch that's thrown in boxing is lucky. Because to me, that's a drill in the pads. Slip, up, left uppercut. Slip, left uppercut. Beautiful positioning, inside, bang. Now, if Dillian White had landed that shot on Povetkin, would that have been a lucky punch? No. When Riz hit Joshua with that left hook, which is his famed punch, the left hook, that was a lucky punch as well. Again, I don't know if it's the PR team. I don't know what it is, but there is people within there that haven't got a clue about boxing. I don't know who it is that's coming up with these lines, these propaganda lines, but it's garbage. Absolute garbage. And at no point do we hear in any of these fights, poor game plan, bad matchmaking, overmatched, bad timing, The opponent was too good on the night. Don't hear any of those things. Don't hear any of those things. And even when the opponent wins, there's always you won, but can you do it again? Can you do it again? You don't really believe you did it the first time. Can you do it again? So this narrative of upset, stop it. You're taking the fans for fools. You're taking the fans for idiots. And a lot of fans are idiots, to be honest, because to be fair, they'll take anything that you say as golden. But it was not an upset. How can it be an upset when the guy that's fighting, the guy that's supposedly been upset, has never won a world title, and has never been anyone near close to being an Olympic gold medalist. He didn't beat Joshua, and now he hasn't been Povetkin. That's not an upset. And I like Dillian White, but that's not an upset. That's a level. Now, the difference between top class and world class, well, we have to talk about, well, he's a top class amateur. He's a world class amateur. He's a top class pro. He's a world class pro. What do we determine as being a world class athlete? And surely if you're a world class athlete, you've got to beat world class fighters. Okay. He beat Parker, and that was a struggle at times. There was a struggle at the end of the fight when Parker actually decided, you know what, I'm going to hit you back. Forget this, I'm going to go for you. We saw what happened. And we saw what happened with Rivas. None of those two fights did Dillian White breeze through. They were both difficult fights. They were both difficult fights. So if there's a little bit more realism, instead of this phantasm like, you know, I'm feared by it. When you start to believe your own hype, and that's another dangerous thing in boxing. When you start to believe your own hype, it's an interesting thing. Andy Ruiz wasn't lucky. If you know anything about boxing history, Andy Ruiz wasn't lucky. Andy Ruiz had a stellar amateur career. Freddie Roach didn't like the fight. You got to know your boxing. Not the names, not what a person looks like, but their boxing ability. There's a track record for a reason. And these people that say that Ruiz was lucky, they don't know boxing. They don't know boxing. And you guys that talk this stuff about lucky stuff, you need to go and watch some football, go watch some tennis, or do you know what? Go play some darts. Go watch some darts. Go down to Essex and watch some darts, mate. Because it's ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. So, upset, I don't want to hear it. It wasn't an upset. That was the more experienced, and experience came into it. The more experience, the more proven, the more decorated, fought better opposition, result from a guy who's been there and done that over and over and over again, as opposed to a guy that would like to become a world champion and would like to say he's done it over and over again against the very best. And that's the difference. So check this. For what? Just think this out for 1 second. 1 second. Listen to this. Dillian White was one step away, this fight here, from becoming or fighting for the WBC heavyweight championship of the world. Think this out for a second. If he had beaten Alexander Povetkin, what would we be looking at now? Would we be looking at a Tyson Fury fight, potentially, at the end of the year? What would we be looking at? Would we be looking at a Tyson Fury fight next year? We know that he could have sat back and said, you know what? My next fight is for the heavyweight championship of the world. It was ordered by the WBC. He went to court for it. He paid legal fees for this. So if you've put all that effort in to do all that stuff, and then come out with a game plan that basically was to your own detriment, You didn't even use your own strengths. You boxed the Povetkin strengths. All credit to Povetkin. Yeah, all credit to Povetkin, but you gave Povetkin credit from the start. This was meant to be maximum violence. And I said, when I heard about all this maximum violence, I said, if he's talking all this maximum violence, expect the opposite. Expect the opposite. Maximum violence, maximum violence, maximum violence. It's going maximum violence. I thought, he's talking too much about maximum violence. He'll probably get on the back foot and try and box. And what did we see? What did we see? I'm telling you now, you might not like the sound of this, there's too many frauds in boxing. And they get covered up by things like the words upset, shock, biggest upset in boxing history, garbage. We didn't see this coming. Well, I saw it coming. And a few others saw it coming as well. But no, you don't listen to the narrative for me and for those who actually want to study the sport of boxing and don't give a damn what the promoter's got to say and say, look, there's this guy and this guy fighting. What are the strengths and weaknesses that these two people bring to the ring? What are the things we need to be aware of? Yeah, he's dangerous on the left hook. Yes, he's got a left hook of his own. But what else has he got? He's got experience. He hasn't really fought at this level before. He's had a lot of things going on. He's changed his trainer. The change of trainer. So I'm going to finish this off. When I finish this off, then I will go to the comment section. So you look at the two fighters, and it's the same people. You know, there's some people that come in and read the comment section and fight after fight after fight, in one ear and out the next. They'll go to the next fight and they'll do the same thing again until you start putting money on it. Start putting money on it, you'll soon change. You'll soon change the way you think about boxing. But yeah, told you about the McCaskill fight. Let's see now. People are saying, says, fight me and I will give you $100. Bit cheap, mate. $100? You'll have to pay me a bit more than that. Old school Frank been giving it to White all day on Twitter. Yeah, well, my favorite wrestler is Mike Tyson. Well, good luck to you, mate. Mine was I had a couple. I like Sid Justice. I like Razor Ramon. I like Bret the Hitman Hart. I like Randy Savage. Hulkamania was cool. I don't know about Mike Tyson. But Povetkin winning wasn't no upset. Let's be honest. Dillian should be grateful he got iced by Sasha and not Wilder. I was going to say, the fact that if you had the right game plan, right, and he boxed and he actually went for Povetkin and not Povetkin out, he could have been the other side. If he'd listened to Teddy Atlas, if he'd studied what Joshua and Belly were doing, we wouldn't be talking about upset and White having to come in for his rematch. We'd be talking about White fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world next. What a shame. And he may never do it. He may never do it because we don't know how White's going to come back from that knockout defeat. Don't know. And if Povetkin's going to let him, the Povetkin's the other side in the other corner, you know. So White never been all that, truth be known. If Povetkin can do that, when Wilder will take his soul. Follow me and I'll follow you back. Yeah, you want to fight me now? You want me to follow you back? Well, yeah, I guess I will. All thought many would argue his soul had already been taken after Saturday night, LOL, and he will only get worse in immediate rematch. Although many would argue his soul has already been taken after Saturday night, and it will only get worse in an immediate rematch, going back into camp with concussion too. That is something. Isn't there a 90-day rule about this? That when you get concussed, you've got to take 90 days out? AJ has shown good boxing IQ at times. Okay. End of November has been targeted, which is suicide. 2 weeks off, then back into camp. Why did White come in 2 stones heavier than Povetkin? Well, I guess if that would have been effective if he boxed to use and push your weight around and push Povetkin around. This was not an upset. I got anxiety watching that fight. And let's be honest, he has been playing Russian roulette with his career for the longest time. Hard fight after hard fight, risk after risk. Russian roulette with his career. Ironic. It was Povetkin to do it. Yep, it was. How many of those fights can you have back to back? Povetkin hit shot well with lefts to the body. The uppercut was something special. And the uppercut was something an Olympian can do. Well, or a very highly talented fighter can do. Dillian and Hearn think because AJ went straight back into the Ruiz rematch and got it done, Dillian can do the same, deluded. Well, there was a difference. There was a lot of money back in AJ. And as you know, I met that guy in DAZN and they built an arena for Joshua. So there was a huge investment in Joshua. So a bit different. But he can still do it. He can still do it. I mean, some would perceive what I'm saying here as being hating. But if you really knew your boxing, you knew you wouldn't be hating. It really is the case of just paying attention. It was clear danger in front of you and you didn't pay attention to the signs. You know, is it hating if I tell you, look, the light's green. If you cross the road now, you're going to get knocked over. Is that hating? Or is that me saying, wait until the red light's here. When the light's red, you cross over. That's not hating. That's me taking care and saying, hey, bro, there's some issues here. You need to look at this. Teddy Atlas said exactly the game plan. Now we're going to try and box him. I only heard this the other day. Somebody sent me the clip of what Teddy Atlas was selling to Dillian White. I was like, oh dear. Also, propaganda being a lucky shot is false. He tried the uppercut from round 1 and in round 3, it didn't land. He was planning all night and worked on it during his camp. This is what Bermain Stavern told us. Another guy with a world amateur champion. Dillian needs a world-class trainer. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You still have to follow. If you have Teddy Atlas, if you have any training in the corner, yeah, a bottom line, you still got to follow it through. Some people would say, but Dave Cole was a world-class trainer. He was in the corner, wasn't he, giving instructions? I don't know. That knockdown was so hard. It was a knockout. It was a bad knockout. Dillian should go to the Kronk. See, you don't even know your boxing. You don't even know your boxing, right? Do you know the boxing Kronk gym was one of the hardest gyms to be at? Kronk gym, one of the main things Kronk did was to have hard sparring sessions, tear ups, and that was what managed to win tear ups at Kronk. Do you really want a guy like Dillian White in a tear up every week in sparring? I don't think that's the smartest thing to be doing. Povetkin's been doing it all his career. It's hardly lucky. It's his famed punch. Just look at the prize fight and Taken fight and plenty others. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think Povetkin will rematch in a similar fashion. What do you think? Well, I think there's many ways Povetkin can hurt White. They're going to have to work on his defense. Not his attack, his defense. And I said he has to be careful when he picks his shots. He's got to be careful how he picks his shots. Because White is at times can be sloppy when he throws his jab. I tell you, sloppy with the jab, sloppy with the right hand. Very sloppy when he throws his punches. There's not a polished look on those punches. And I don't know if White is overtrained on all those months he had in camp. I know they're saying, oh, he changed camp from this date to that date to this date. Povetkin had the same dates. Povetkin had no advantage. Povetkin had the same dates as White. So when they chopped and changed the dates, Povetkin had the same dates too. So that you can throw that dates thing out the window. So if Povetkin overtrained, then White overtrained. So you have a better fight and rematch. But if Povetkin's got White's number, because look, like I said, through the middle you can get Dillian White. Round the side you can get Dillian White, and through the middle, up through the middle, up here through the middle, the uppercut, the straight right hand of the looping right hand through the middle, and the left hook. Go back and look at the video and how many of those punches touched Dillian White. And then what was the punch that ended it? All about the money. So so Dillian White goes into a fight and a rematch with a guy who he knows can knock him out with one shot. It wasn't like the Joshua fight where he took round punches after punches after punches. And you have to ask yourself the question as well: White's durability is his durability going? Is he on the wane? I don't know. The question's got to be asked now. A knockout defeat like that is not good. You need time to recover. Andy Ruiz was lucky, but I think Povetkin was. Andy Ruiz show was lucky. I think Povetkin. But Povetkin was. What? Don't know about that, son. This was the plan all along, though, to give Dillian losses on his record and move him away from title shots, turn him into the new Chisora of 10 losses and be a gatekeeper to the big boys. Well, it seemed every fight he was being put in was a fight to get him beat. That's what it seemed to me. Dillian done very well, but he's not an elite boxer. Okay. Remember what we said? The short shots would trouble Dillian. Dillian White was wrapped in cotton wool. His best win was Chisora 2, and he was losing on the cards until the KO. No, I disagree with you there. I think the second fight with Chisora, he had it under control, and I predicted on this channel yet again that White would have knocked Chisora out with a left hook. I said it, and you saw it. So I don't know what you're talking about. If he escaped Povetkin, it would have been Usyk, and the Russian roulette would continue. Oh yeah, of course, we know that. The road to nowhere. I've said it before. This is a brutal thing. One mistake and you're gone. So you can't afford to make a mistake. So you've got to be rock solid about the game plan you're having. Rock solid. Are you sure about this game plan? Are you sure this game plan is going to work? I mean, are you sure to the point where I've spent a lot of money to fight these legal fees, to get myself in position with WBC, to come out and box like that? Come on. Sorry. Of course, there's no such thing as a lucky punch. It was beautifully set up by Povetkin. It was Johnny Nelson that came up with all the lucky shot crap. Well, I'm not surprised. Wow. Read the comments from the top, bro. I'm reading the comments, bro. I'm reading the comments. Wow. Talking rubbish. Okay. What do you think of the rematch? Dillian, I hope he's got his mind on the job. I mean, getting knocked out like that, you mean you've got to overcome being knocked out by one shot, giving it your best, dropping the guy. Remember, it's not just Dillian White getting knocked out by the shot. A guy has got up from his left hook, got dropped twice by Dillian, got up and knocked him out. So it's not just the knockout you got to worry about. It's the lead up to the knockout. Why is there a rematch? That's a good question. Why is there a rematch? Let the man finish his rant. Talking facts here, Ingram. Thank you very much. Povetkin's manager confirmed the rematch. Rematch might be in Russia too. Oh Lord. See, not only you have to go to Russia to fight. Hey boy. Oh yeah, you have to fight in Russia in a rematch. Say a prayer for Dillian. Really, I'm not joking. Dillian White sucks. Good thing he didn't fight Wildy. He may have been dead. Oh, dear me. Come on, that's quite harsh. White is a good fighter. He had some solid wins, but this can happen against a world-class fighter like Povetkin. Okay? Did someone say he should go to Kronk? That won't work anymore. Povetkin's team put an end to that. Oh, boy. They keep banging on about Povetkin's age, but he still has a lot of pedigree and class. Well, they kept talking about Andy Ruiz being fat. So whoever's spinning that a narrative that Povetkin is old, I suspect is somebody who doesn't know anything about boxing. And there's probably a few of them in that camp that don't know. And I'm not talking about Dillian's camp now. I'm talking about at Matchroom HQ that haven't got a clue about boxing. I'm telling you. You just have to look at how they match their fighters, period. Guys who could end up being pay-per-view stars have ended up had zeros, have had losses on their record for no reason whatsoever. Fights they didn't have to take, rushed into European title fights. For what reason? Yeah, I think Dillian needs to have a look at team. I don't think it's the team he has to look at it. I think there needs to be a serious look at himself, because it was him who answered Teddy Atlas, when Teddy Atlas was giving him the game plan. No, we're gonna break him down. We think that he might be old on the inside, but he might be fresh and stuff. And I don't know about that. I don't know. If he left Tibbs, if he's left Tibbs, can't be in a worse place. Worried for Tyson Fury. What's Tyson Fury got to do with this? Dillian does not suck. Come on, he's a very good fighter. He still has some good wins over solid opponents, but he's not elite. Go to sleep, man. How did you get on my... I don't know how these people get on Facebook. These people really have got no time whatsoever. Mate, if you don't like it, get lost. Dillian should go down the WBA regular route. Said it a long time ago. How many times have I said it? I think I said it 1,001 times. Evening, friend. On Twitch today to show some support there too. Hey, Joey, my brother, how you doing? How things been? It's good to see you. My gosh. I don't know why Facebook brings up so many idiots. I just don't understand why. Facebook really attracts idiots. I thought it was Twitter did that. Sorry to say, but Dillian's punches has gone. You could see after the AJ fight, and he's knocked down since. Parker, Rivas, etc. Now Povetkin doing this is only going to make it worse. That could be a key point there. It's downhill from here. We've seen the best of White. No, White is trash. He's far too easy to hit. He lost to Povetkin. He's supposed to be Wilder, Ortiz, Brazil. They would have all ended in 5 rounds. Who's Brazil's best win? Who's Ortiz's best win? Wilder, okay, but who's Ortiz's best win? And who's Brazil's best win? Really? Come on. I mean, you're talking about Ortiz, who I never rated. And I said that Wilder smashed the crap out of. And why are you talking about Ortiz? Who's Luis Ortiz? Who's Luis Ortiz's best performance to be considered such a bogeyman? 1 and 2. Who's Dominic Brazil's best win? So forget Dominic Brazil and forget Luis Ortiz. Wilder, I'll give you. Ortiz and Brazil, I ain't so sure of. Because Ortiz, I don't know who Ortiz. How good is Luis Ortiz? He got stretched by Wilder in the second fight by 1 shot. And that's it. He's had 2 world title shots and got beaten both world title shots. What do I know about Luis Ortiz? He gets knocked out when he gets hit hard. But I said this before he fought Wilder. The first time I said, when he gets hit by somebody hard, he'll go over. So I always said about Luis Ortiz. Why was it in his career he never fought any punches until he fought Wilder? Povetkin is still easily a top 10 heavyweight today. He was being underrated going into Hunt is another guy who's underrated. I looked at the Hunter fight. I said, if Hunter couldn't get Povetkin out there, and Hunter was throwing 1,000 punches at a time at Povetkin, and Povetkin hung in there and took it to Hunter later on in the fight, I said, that's the same approach that White has to take because he's heavier, he's bigger, and if he hits Povetkin, Povetkin's going to know about it. And you saw by the 2 knockdowns by White. Sky already running the agenda and propaganda of comparing Dillian's losses to Lennox Lewis' losses and say he'll come back stronger. The difference between Dillian White and Lennox Lewis, difference between Dillian White and Anthony Joshua are Olympic gold medalists. That is key there, you know, key. But I'm not saying White can't come back, and I'm not saying White can't win. There's a lot of comments here, Dan. You got to bear with me. White is better than Brazil, in my opinion. Only just. Ortiz is a very good fighter, but it's the same with him. He gets discredited by ignorant people because of his age and the fact that he lost to Wilder twice. But I will tell you this: who's Ortiz's best win? If you're going to back and say he's a very good fighter, who is he beat to be a very good fighter? He hasn't fought Joseph Parker. He didn't fight Oscar Rivas. He didn't fight Robert Helenius. He didn't fight Lucas Brown. He didn't fight Derek Chisora. So who was Luis Ortiz for? Bryant Jennings. But he got beat by Oscar Rivas. Okay. Who else? Tony Thompson. Okay. And who else? Dave Allen, come on. We can't have a narrative that Luis Ortiz is so great, got knocked out in 2 world title fights, but his best performance was against Brian Jennings. Come on. Who got beat by Oscar Rivas, who Dillian White beat. So come on, let's talk about this. Frank Warren is a fraud and has been bankrupt. Yeah, okay. The relevance of Frank Warren to this conversation, I'm not sure if there is. White swerved Ortiz and many. I wonder why. White will overtrain himself for November, thinking he needs to train lots to beat Povetkin. Possibly. Comparing White to Lennox is crazy. Well, they've got to do something, haven't they? It's shameful, really. Sky have got no shame, to be honest. Shameless Sky, they have got no shame. Yeah, very good, man. Good to see you on Twitch as well. Long may it continue as this amazing channel continues to grow, brother. Thank you very much. I've got to build this Twitch channel. I want to get the affiliate on that because I've been waiting to get that affiliate for so long. I've been waiting so long to get the affiliate on Twitch, so we're pushing for that. So I'm streaming from the Twitch. I'm streaming Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. By the way, once again, it was great the other night to had 7. I think it got around to about 9,000 views the night where White watched White versus Povetkin commentary. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, White blamed it on his age, but for all the guys like Brown, Whack, regardless, Ortiz is a dangerous opponent. Yeah, dangerous to what point though? I mean, I keep saying, how good is Luis Ortiz? Nobody's telling me. Povetkin with Usyk would be an amazing fight. Yeah, it would be. I always thought it'd be a great fight. Sky bias is beyond a joke. Has been for years. Well, yeah. Ortiz's best win is Jennings, in my opinion. Well, of course. Well, that's it. So, yeah. And all due respect to Brian Jennings, who I have a lot of love for, and he's been on his channel numerous times, he was no Olympic gold medalist. How many belts did Brian Jennings win as a pro? This is what I'm talking to you about. Man, you have already been exposed on numerous LDBC channels. You should be ashamed. What are you talking about? Hey, you've got a few seconds to be. There you go. There's your few moments of fame. Get lost. Next. Ortiz is tougher sell now. He's a no-win situation for an elite guy. But if they beat Ortiz, they will say he's already lost to Wilder. He's old, etc. That's what I'm saying to you. But who has Ortiz beaten? That's it. Let me explain something to you, my friend. I've been doing this over 10 years, right? I don't seek validation from anybody. I don't care what anybody has to say about me, right? As far as I'm concerned, this is the BWTM universe. And if you don't like it, the door is there. Please do leave. If you don't like it, you know where you can go. I'm not asking for your I'm not asking for your approval for the channel. You've invested nothing in the channel, so please, I'm not asking for your opinion. So I don't care what anybody else has got to say. I'm not here for your approval. So I'm not here to be approval for this person, that group, and this group. They don't put nothing towards me. They don't pay my light bill. They don't pay my phone bill. And they certainly don't contribute nothing to my channel. So as I'm concerned is, with all due respect, keep those little comments to yourself. Thank you very much. Moving on. Hunter fought Povetkin. It was a draw. Very good fight. Is a good fighter though. Oh, this guy. Don't know how these comments are coming through tonight. Okay, you know what? That's it. I'm not giving you no more time tonight on the channel. Good. Christian Hammer. Ortiz has lost to Wilder twice. Who's the hardest puncher possibly in heavyweight history? Parker, AJ, Fury, Chisora all avoid him. A lefty Cuban. Only Wilder had the stones to fight him. Let me show you something to you, Coach Chris. Can you name me one fighter that Ortiz fought in his career that's not a puncher? That is a puncher. It's an old saying within the gyms that if you see a guy of a record and he's not fighting punches, look out. Why? In his amateur career, I believe he got knocked out as an amateur, and I think he got knocked out by a light heavyweight or something like that. So even in the amateurs, Luis Ortiz's chin wasn't the greatest, and that's his amateur pedigree. So, you know, as a pro, they guide him very nicely against guys who couldn't punch. Look at his resume. And the first time he stepped up against a guy who could really crack him back, what happened? White could have fought Ortiz and beat him and get the Wilder fight on 2 separate occasions, turned it down. He knows he's not at that top level. Okay, look, even if White had beaten, listen, if White had beaten Ortiz, you'd have turned around and said, well, Wilder had done it already. So really, that's a narrative that I don't really buy into, because boxing fans will tell you, oh, well, if he beats this guy, then it's going to be fine. No, because you turn around and say, well, Wilder beat him, so what have you proven? You've just beaten Wilder's leftovers. So that doesn't prove anything, to be honest. White fought somebody that Wilder didn't fight, which is Povetkin. So, okay, and Wilder was due to fight Povetkin. The fight got cancelled, yes, but Wilder was due to fight Povetkin. In a fight that, if Povetkin slipped and got on the inside, I wouldn't like to see what happened to Wilder. Wilder's great on the outside. He's got a brilliant outside game. I mean, great jab, great right hand. But slip behind the jab and slip behind the right hand and let Povetkin hit you on the chin. It's a different situation altogether. So, you know, Wilder's got a great right hand and he could knock Povetkin out. But Povetkin's got the power to knock Wilder out. Make no qualms about that. Povetkin can knock Wilder out. He's got the power to do it. And he's got the ability to do it too. So, I wouldn't be so... because White got knocked out by Povetkin, Povetkin could well knock out Deontay Wilder as well. Wow. Ortiz beat up Allen every round and stopped him in the 7th, easier than White did. It's not life and death, and he beat Jennings way easier than Rivas, but styles make fights. I agree. What's his biggest win? I keep saying it to you all. What is Ortiz's biggest win? In a rematch, if White comes out all attack, he'll get tagged and stopped even earlier. If he stands off and boxes, he will get iced mid-rounds. He loses both ways. Well, I think, for me, he loses no... There's nothing worse than fighting with a style that you know deep in your heart isn't the best you could have given. I'd rather see Dillian White go to war with Povetkin. And that's his strength. He uses physical strength and his power and try and bully Povetkin. Try. But sitting on the back foot trying to box, don't know. It's dodgy. No option 2 here, I'm afraid. Jennings is a decent gatekeeper. He did well versus Vlad and gave Joyce a hard fight. But he's not great. But he's a respectable guy, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, of course he is. Good fighter. But not the way, not when you're talking about the great Luis Ortiz. If Dillian loses second time for by Povetkin, does he go for Chisora Trilogy or Dubois or Joyce pick him off? I think he should go down the WBA route. And I just wonder how much Dillian would have left after back-to-back top fights. But Ingram, you've got to realize that there's a lot of hate for Wilder. He's taken on everyone, turned down no one, and once he beats a guy, they will make it relegated to bums. I am not fair play, but I'm not one of them guys. I'm not one of the guys. The only time I spoke out against Wilder, and I told him, and I had him on the channel, I said to him, listen, why would I be supporting you knocking out guys who you're meant to knock out? You're doing your job. When he became WBC champion, I was fully in support of Wilder. So I'm not of that narrative. And if you listen to my videos, I'm not of that narrative at all. I haven't always supported Wilder. I've supported Wilder after he beat Stavern, because at that point he became champion and he beat a champion. He became WBC champion. And just for that alone, he deserved respect. He beat a champion to become a champion. Think what you want to Stavern. He beat a champion to be a champion. And at the time, Stavern was ranked really highly in all governing bodies. He was he was a high ranked heavyweight. So he was in the top 3. So at that time, people got a short memory. So Wilder he stepped up to the plate and he beat Stavern. And that was it. That was the end of my conversation. And from then I've praised Wilder for what he's done. I was the guy who said he had probably one of the greatest right hands in heavyweight boxing. I was with the guy who started saying that. So, you know, Wilder's resume before Ortiz's week. Oh, Jesus Christ. See, this is the sort of stuff I'm talking about here. Okay, well then Tyson Fury's resume was weak before he fought Klitschko. Need I continue? Ortiz, Brazil, Stavern, 3 best wins. Okay, fine. But do you take into consideration that the heavyweight division is weak? How many killers do we have in the heavyweight division? How many guys in the heavyweight division are going to go down to be all-time greats? Ask yourself the question. So when you're looking at a resume, ask yourself what's in the top 10 of the heavyweight division. You've called out guys who've either been in the top 10 or number 1 contenders. Ortiz was the number 1 contender, fought for the heavyweight championship world twice. Brazil was a contender, fought for the heavyweight championship world twice. Stavern was a heavyweight contender, top 10, fought for the heavyweight championship world twice. And at one point or another, these guys have all been ranked number 1 in the world. What the hell are you talking about? So 3 best wins against 3 of the top number 1 fighters in the world at the time. Okay, so or mandatory challenges. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. 3 best wins, yeah, or where were they ranked at the time? So there you go, dismissing Wilder. But you were one of the guys that were saying Wilder should fight Ortiz, and I told you it's a waste of time. But you get to splatter him, and now you turn around saying, "Oh, Ortiz is old man, not really good performance." If AJ or Fury beat Ortiz, the same fans hammering Ortiz would be saying it's a great win on record for AJ and Fury. Most people are not fair. Yeah, goalposts. I don't listen to a lot of people because you listen to them shoot the goalposts. Listen to a lot of people around boxing. You got to listen to them. Listen to what they say pre-fight. Yeah, I want to see him fight that guy. And then post-fight. Yeah, he beat that guy, but he was old. You can't really listen to commentary like that because it's just bias and it's not giving people credit and it's discrediting, and that's why the sport is the state it's in today. It's free fall. It's not good. King Kong has a great chin. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, of course he has. Dave Allen has got a better chin than so has Hugh Fury. Okay. Dude, you're not really talking about Povetkin beating Wilder. Come on, bro. Povetkin is finished. I'm talking about the time Povetkin was meant to fight Wilder. Please listen to me. When Povetkin was going to fight Wilder at that time, timing, Povetkin didn't fight Wilder. White fought Wilder. That's what I said. Please put it in its context and listen to me from the context of what I'm speaking about and not how you'd like to put it into a context. Dave Allen wants to fight Babbage now. I don't care. Moving on. I don't care about Babbage. Moving on. I really don't want to hear about Babbage and now Dave Allen. Moving on. Povetkin. It's not finished. He was written off before other night. His performance against Huey, Hunter, and White show he was still solid. Povetkin's performances were like that. The Hunter performance was a great performance like that. White's performances were like that. I mean, he had that like that. We had the Whack fight where he was overweight. Then we had the Rivas fight where he was in trouble and dropped. And then we had the Parker fight. So, I mean, you look at the 2 trajectories of the guys. Why did Wilder not fight Klitschko? I don't know and really don't care. Next. Wilder's last 5 points have been Brazil, Ortiz, Fury, back-to-back 18 months. Yes, I don't know how many other heavyweights that these guys are talking about have done that. And have been caught for a banned substance, which they don't want to talk about either. Anyway, I don't care about who Dave Allen should fight. I'm really not interested. Exactly. The division is weak. Why do people expect you just can't birth a new Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, and Holyfield, then throw them into the division and say fight them? Don't work like that. I know it doesn't. I know it doesn't. You got to listen to what people are saying. Listen to what they're saying and think, okay, where's that coming from? So who is saying So saying who they face is nonsense. Of course it's nonsense. The division is weak. We know this. Wilder, Duck, Povetkin. Jesus Christ. Somebody help this guy out. Joe Blow. Povetkin tested positive for PEDs. That's why the fight never happened. And the same thing happened when Stavern went to Russia. Povetkin tested positive there as well. I don't care about Alan Babbage. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not interested. Not that I don't like Alan Babbage, but that's not the conversation tonight. So does anybody else want to talk about this situation with White? Let's see what Nathan's saying. Do you think people put too much emphasis on losses now in boxing fans, calling people bums after a loss? It seems disrespectful to me. You've got a lot of people in boxing, a lot of people who don't understand their history of boxing. And every time they disrespect a fighter, are chipping away at legends. Every time you chip away at a fighter, you're chipping away at legends. Because Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall and got knocked out by Hassan Rahman. Okay, Muhammad Ali got beat by an 8-fight novice. Okay, George Foreman got knocked out by Jimmy Ellis. I think Jimmy Ellis. I could go on list of fighters who got beat by guys. Michael Moore got knocked out by a 48-year-old in George Foreman. We could go on and on and on and on and on. If you go through people, you could go through. Let's go through GGG, for example. Everyone talks about GGG on this channel, right? Most of them, GGG. Name me one guy, world-class opponent, he is knocked out, but yet he is a phenomenal puncher. One world-class opponent he's knocked out, cold, sparkle. But Wilder does it on consistently. People don't like Wilder, but they talk about knockouts. They say Mayweather's boring, but when Lomachenko does it, it's fine. See, I don't get it. But Lomachenko got beat by Salido. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Just wait for the Dubois-Joyce loser to be burnt by fans and the winner to be worshipped. I've told you already, Dubois is getting knocked out by Joyce. Not ready. Yeah, I know I was being silly. You are silly. Joe Blow. Did Stavern duck Povetkin as well? He popped dirty. Son of a... Yeah, of course he did. If I was Eddie, I would pay someone to make Povetkin pop dirty so they would have the rematch and they would avoid the rematch and get the fight made a no contest from last weekend. Eddie got enough money to do it. Yeah, he has. That would be a smart move to make, actually. Turn him into Miller. Okay. GGG, great puncher, man. Come on. All right. Could you box rec one world-class opponent at middleweight he's knocked out? Don't talk about Kell Brook because he didn't knock him out cold. One world-class opponent he knocked out. Just one. This is the sort of example that we have in boxing today. GGG, great puncher. Come on, man. Who's he knocked out? Dominic Wade? Who? And get out of here, man. Then Dillian can keep his military status. Yep, I agree. So, yeah, that's it, really. I don't think I've got much more to talk about. So, the term upset, we need to look at it again, people. We really look at the term upset, what it means, what it really means. And are we going to actually start taking, are we going to hold more people accountable for bad matchmaking, poor game plans, not really good preparation, fitness, missing weight, not coming in the right weight, not actually paying attention to what the fighter does, all these things? Or are we just going to keep on using the word upset to cover up a lazy, and I say it again, there's a lot of lazy people within boxing that will not look at a fight and do the proper research beforehand. And the best way to cover up lazy journalism is to say the word shock and upset, because that All these frauds running around calling themselves experts, and every time they say that was a shock, well, you didn't see it coming. You didn't see it coming. And you're meant to be boxing experts. You do this a full-time job. I'm a part-timer sitting down, by the sea, analyzing fights. Part-time, not even part-time. And I can see the problems. I can see what's going to happen. If I can see it, I'm not Nostradamus. If I can see it, you guys should be able to see it too. And you're paid to do it, and you're experts. So it's lazy journalism. Lazy journalism. You don't take the time to break a fight down properly. You don't take the time to tell the truth because you're going by the narrative of what your company people. That's what it is. Rematch clause for WBC mandatory position. Is this the first? I don't know. Matchroom bandit. The matchroom bandit in the room loves the suck of Eastern Europe, Eastern Bloc opposition. Oh well. What can I say? I didn't say it. Right, I think I'm done. I think I've said I've got to say tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show. And just to close once again, BWTM online has been around for over 10 years, or 10 years plus. We have never, ever, what we do within our universe is what we do within our universe. What people want to do outside their universe is up to them. What we do in the universe is what we do is BWTM. We're all interested in BWTM. That's all we're interested in. Making sure that the people that turn up get, what they expect. Top quality boxing coaches, teachers, guests, and learn more about the sport of boxing. Without the propaganda, then it is what it is. If your name ends in Chenko, you're the greatest of all time. Well, we know that. That's it. For Dillian to bang on about how hard done by he's been done, what other mandatory holder gets a rematch clause for eliminator with rematch without being paid for two? Let me ask you a question. How many world-class opponents has GGG knocked out? Just ask him. I think Stavern would have done well against Povetkin. I think it'd be a great fight. Don't forget to smash the like button, people. Subscribe if you haven't already. Yes, Joey, in the room as always. My boy. Right, let's get out of here. And I spoke to Mr. Bashir actually yesterday at length. He's training a new fighter, 6'4", 235 pounds, and he's another Ukrainian. So I think what's his name? I think Ruben Guerrero is going to be very happy at that. Another Ukrainian. Oh yeah. Right, I'm out of here. Have a really great night. And if I do get Mr. Bashir, if I get hold of him, then I will be back. Take care.